Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today is Terrifying Tuesday. On Terrifying Tuesday, we talk about all things horror, and today we have to talk about Scream. Scream 6 has apparently done this promotional tour involving the museum, and what it has exposed is utterly exciting and potentially game changing. Number one thing, of course, is that the mask, the Old Man Ghostface mask, is indeed supposed to have somebody attached to it, and we're going to talk about who. And then the other thing is even more crazy. So let's jump right into it. All right, so the Old Man Ghostface mask, as I call it, has been confirmed to be Billy Loomis's. And we know this because there is a museum in California that is technically the museum in New York. But it's part of a tour, a promotional tour by the movie that takes place in California. Why it's not in New York, I don't know. That's a missed opportunity if you ask me. But it's in California, and a lot of people have gone. They've reported how this tour sort of goes. You start off going into the convenience store, where Shotgun Ghostface is there. You know, you get to see the stuff that's in the store, and a lot of little references and Easter eggs are in that store as well. And I've never really taken a look at inside that store, but I would be kind of really curious to see if some of the props that they put in this tour made it into the movie, like Becker's popcorn and things like that. Now, the next spot you go is to the subway, where you kind of get Ghostface taunting you, asking you if you see him, and he will disappear. He says, "Now you see me, now you don't," type of thing. Okay? Well, then the last place on the tour is this museum. And it's what everybody is talking about is the Billy Loomis mask that is on the statue in the case with Billy Loomis's name, confirming once and for all that this is in fact Billy Loomis that we're seeing. Billy Loomis's mask. So, being that that's the case, I found something else that people aren't talking about a whole lot, that I don't hear a lot of people talking about. All the places I've been reading about are talking about the mask. All the places that I'm watching anything about it at all, news reference sites, anything that's talking about it, is all talking about the Billy Loomis mask. They're not talking about the one simple fact about this museum that could be a game changer. And that is that the Ghostface inside the museum has some interesting stuff to say. He basically says, "Welcome to my lair where the past and present meet." That's important to know because now we have a spot for the final battle. This is the place the final battle will probably take place in the movie, which means everything before this is kind of just leading up to this moment, to this spot in the movie where we get to go into the museum. So this kind of changes everything. I do think that Sam will be haunted by Billy Loomis. I think she'll probably see him the way she saw him in another movie. I still think there's a possibility that she will see other Ghostface killers due to the fact that she has been kind of studying up on this now, probably trying to prepare herself for the inevitable help that she's going to need to receive, you know. And then you have the fact that Kirby is doing an investigation. You have this fact that Kirby is doing all of her investigative stuff. And that's going to lead to something because that tells us that Ghostface killings have been going on all the way across the world, apparently. Across the country, at least. And that Kirby has gotten herself involved with these investigations. Now, why this is important, because that means the internet thing that started in Scream 2 with Billy Loomis's mom is still going to be a thing. Past and present meaning is going to help to tie this up. I strongly believe that that's what they're hinting at here. That we're going to get to see this museum lead to some answers about this website, about this thing that's been going on behind the scenes the entire movie franchise. And we're finally going to get to see it come into play in an interesting way. And, that coming into fruition in such a cool way is important. It is cool. Because to paraphrase Stu himself, it's all about the sequel, Sydney. And this is going to have a sequel. And I think that this is the way they move forward. The idea that you need someone like Neve Campbell to come back and be Sydney forever isn't plausible. The idea that you need somebody to come back and be the final girl in every single film isn't really plausible. And this has been proven time and time again. And we keep seeing the same thing happen over and over. The original stars don't always stick around. Well, then you get the new stars, and the new stars don't always stick around either. In fact, everybody in this movie could die. And the movie could go forward. And the reason it could go forward is whatever they're going to do here is going to influence where 7 should go. And I think that's why it's taking place in this museum. I think this museum is a very important location in terms of this movie. And more we get these hints. More and more we're getting this idea that this is where the final battle is taking place. And I think this tour confirms that. I think this tour confirms that this movie is going to take place, the final part of it, in this museum. It's going to reference that website. It's going to reference everything that needs to be tied together to make the franchise movable. To make it to where it could go anywhere. Next movie could be in your own backyard. Essentially. The threat is everywhere. You wanted the Ghostface cult, this is it. This movie could very well be leading into that idea that they are everywhere. And then eventually, if Neve Campbell would ever come back, they could do the whole, oh wait, who actually started the website? Who actually started this site, this forum, to honor Billy Loomis and Stu Macher? Was it Mrs. Loomis? That's doubtful, because there's a book about Scream 2, and it talks about her and Mickey's relationship. And basically, when it talks about her and Mickey's relationship, it talks about how they met. And they met when she met him on a serial killer forum, not necessarily an honor site for the idea of the whole Woodsboro murders. No, she met him on the dark web. He was on the dark web bragging about a current murder that he had just committed. In fact, while he's doing this in this book, he is actually in the room having just killed this girl. And he gets asked if he would be interested in being one of the Ghostface killers. Now, Billy Loomis and Stu Macher had become kind of icons by this point in eyes of other serial killers. They did something here. They started something. So he's like, wait a minute, I will never be as famous as them. I will never be as famous on my own as they are now. But I can be famous if I take this, if I do this. So he does it. He joins her. And the rest is Scream history. Now, that being said, after that, could a site have been made where all of a sudden they are talking about the next Stu Macher, the next Billy Loomis, talking about this whole idea of becoming Ghostface killers? Yes, it's true. It happens because the Stab movie happens. And people are talking about it. And people get sick ideas sometimes. And these people decide that that's what they're going to do. This movie will definitely be a game changer in that way. It's going to change the way we look at Scream. If they're doing this, if they're doing this type of thing, think of the opportunities here. A movie where Ghostface could be anywhere is not a bad way to keep the franchise going at all. And I'm excited for that as a concept. And I think that this museum kind of proves that that might be the way they're heading with this whole thing. Because they say where the past meets the present. And the idea that they keep remaking and doing sequels and doing this, and the fact that Neve Campbell isn't going to be around forever. All of this leads me to believe that we're going to be seeing what the future of the Scream franchise will look like by the end of this movie. And then when we get to part 7, it's going to be a whole new ballgame. But we want to know what you guys think. So leave a comment in the comment box below letting us know what you think. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. Let them be part of the conversation as well. Watch out for Scream spoilers. There's only 2 weeks away, so be careful in those comments about reading other people's comments and potentially getting spoilers, because apparently there is some out there and I don't know if it's true or not. But just to be safe. And then don't forget to hit that like button. It's free. It helps the channel and we appreciate it. Then Miko says we need more subscribers. You don't want to disappoint Miko, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video we do. And at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, Miko knows it. Fandom is family.